Hello and welcome to Fast and Factual. I'm Utsaf Parekh and here are the top stories of the day. Beginning with updates from the Israel-Hamas war, Israel has released a video that claims to show a tunnel dug by Hamas under Gaza's Al-Shifa hospital. They said that the tunnel ran 55 meters to a blast-proof door. Hamas has acknowledged having a network of tunnels but denies operating them through civilian infrastructure. Meanwhile, the Israeli Defense Forces also released security camera footage. This purportedly showed Hamas bringing in hostages from Israel into Al-Shifa hospital. The IDF says this was footage from October 7th, the day of the Hamas attack. According to new data, the death toll from the ongoing conflict has exceeded 14,400. Gazan officials gave out new numbers yesterday. According to the officials, the death toll in the Gaza Strip has exceeded 13,000. Among the dead, 5,500 were children and 3,500 were women. Meanwhile, more than 30,000 others have been injured. In the West Bank, 215 people have been killed and more than 2,800 have been injured. However, the Israeli military have not updated their numbers. Premature babies from a hospital in Gaza City were transported to a neonatal ward in Rafah. The joint operation by the United Nations and Palestinian Red Crescent moved 31 babies in incubators. The infants will be moved to Egypt today. Yemen's Houthi rebels claim to have seized an Israeli cargo ship in the southern Red Sea yesterday. However, Israel has denied the ownership of the vessel and said there were no Israelis among its crew. Meanwhile, the Israel Defense Forces have said that the vessel was heading from Turkey to India. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office later added that the vessel was operated by a Japanese company. Meanwhile, Japan said it was seeking the early release of crew members from the seized cargo ship. Japan's Chief Cabinet Secretary Hirokazu Matsuno said Japan firmly condemned the act. He added that they are working with the relevant countries for the early release of the vessel and its crew. Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei has made an appeal to Muslim states with political ties with Israel. He asked them to cut ties with Israel at least for a limited time. Khamenei said that the countries should not allow oil, energy, goods and the like to enter the Zionist regime. Thousands of Israeli protesters, including family members of the hostages held by Hamas, marched from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. This was to urge the Israeli government to strike a ceasefire deal in exchange for the release of hostages. The protesters carried Israeli flags and signboards with photographs of the hostages. They converged on Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's Jerusalem office, calling on him to do more for the release of the captives. Moving to other political news, Ukraine has blamed Russia for launching several waves of drone attacks on Kyiv over the weekend. Ukraine's Air Force said its air defense systems destroyed 15 of 20 Russia-launched kamikaze drones. However, there had been no initial reports of critical damage or casualties. Meanwhile, Russia has said that its forces destroyed Ukrainian boats. It also added that the Russian army thwarted attempted attacks of Ukrainian forces in several directions. Argentina has elected right-wing libertarian Javier Milei as its new president. He won by a wider than expected margin, bagging 56% of the votes. A crumbling Argentine economy stands in front of Milei as he takes over the presidential role. He has pledged to mend it. Milei's plans include shutting the country's central bank, ditching the Argentinian peso, and slashing spending. North Korea has denounced America's potential sale of missiles to Japan and South Korea. Pyongyang has called it a dangerous act and is accusing the US of raising tensions in the region and bringing in a new arms race. North Korea's defense ministry has said that Pyongyang will increase measures to respond to the instability in the region. Australian Foreign Minister Penny Wong has arrived in India's capital, New Delhi. This is to participate in the second India-Australia 2+2 ministerial dialogue. Indian Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and the External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar will hold talks with their Australian counterparts. The discussions will cover a broad spectrum of strategic, defence and security matters. More than 500 Rohingya refugees from Myanmar landed on the shores of Indonesia's Aceh province yesterday. This has overwhelmed the local facilities in the region. The location where they're being accommodated is overflowing with fresh arrivals. This is according to a UN official. She added that the officials are waiting for the Indonesian government to provide bigger temporary shelters to house them. In recent days, more than 1,000 refugees have arrived in Aceh. In the Indian state of Uttarakhand, an over 40-member construction crew continues to be trapped inside a collapsed tunnel. It has been over a week since the accident, but rescue efforts have made little headway. A specialist drilling machine has been flown in from the central city of Indore. This was after rescue operations came to a halt due to a snag in the older drilling machine. In climate news, the air quality in India's capital, New Delhi, has improved slightly. The air quality index went into the poor category from the severe category over the weekend. India's Pollution Control Board says that the air quality remains between 300 to 400 AQI. Officials added that the pollution levels are likely to remain the same throughout this week. Carbon monoxide intoxication choked several hundred animals to death in the Latin American nation of Bolivia. Officials confirmed that dozens of animals like deer and birds had died from inhaling the deadly gas. Carbon monoxide emissions have peaked due to wildfires that are burning in the Bolivian Amazon region. According to the Bolivian Environment Ministry, over 96,000 fires were detected in November. Heavy rains in the Caribbean nation of the Dominican Republic caused a wall to collapse in the capital city of Santo Domingo. Authorities confirmed that the death of at least 9 people at the site. Heavy downpour, storms and strong winds have hit several regions in the Caribbean nation. Extreme weather in the Eastern European nation of Bulgaria has claimed the lives of at least 2 people. Heavy rainfall, snow and strong winds have caused destruction in the region. Officials say several towns and villages do not have access to electricity. A state of emergency has been declared in the city of Varna in Bulgaria. Farmers in the American state of Kentucky are still recuperating with devastation caused by heavy flood and rainfall. Earlier this summer, heavy flooding damaged their crops and fields. Farmers have estimated a loss of 5 to 10% in their yearly harvest. According to U.S. officials, extreme weather events have affected small-scale farmers the most. A new study by the non-profit Oxfam and US researchers has found a shocking amount of greenhouse gases are emitted by 12 billionaires. The list includes names like Amazon's Jeff Bezos, tech giant Bill Gates and entrepreneur Elon Musk. According to the research, the lifestyle of the billionaires is causing carbon pollution, which is the equivalent of the contribution of over 2 million homes. According to the report, a majority of the carbon emissions come from private jets, cars and helicopters. The United Nations received over 500 proposals for the world's first treaty to control global plastic pollution. The global negotiators have been discussing the terms at a week-long summit in the African nation of Kenya. 2 more talks are scheduled to happen to finalize the treaty this week. On to business and tech news. Reports say ChatGPT maker OpenAI's board has moved to hire former Twitch head Emmett Shear as its new CEO. This is after other reports said ousted CEO Sam Altman was about to make a return to the company. Altman was fired by OpenAI's board late on Friday in a move that shocked the tech world. Ever since, some employees have said that they were also considering leaving if Altman wasn't reinstated. Meanwhile, Microsoft, OpenAI's biggest backer, is reportedly considering taking a role on the board. This is if ousted CEO Sam Altman returns to the ChatGPT developer. Microsoft could either take a seat on OpenAI's board of directors, or it may grab a seat as a board observer without voting power. Kyle Vogt, the boss of automaker General Motors' Cruise unit, has quit. This is amid doubts over the safety of its self-driving robot taxis. His exit comes after an October crash that saw a Cruise vehicle dragging along a pedestrian. In November, the California Department of Motor Vehicles ordered the firm to pull all its self-driving cars off state roads. Meanwhile, Kelly Bayer, the head of Australia's second-largest telecom firm Optus, has also resigned. Chief Financial Officer Michael Venter will take over as interim CEO. Bayer's resignation follows a massive outage and one of Australia's largest data breaches in the company. Earlier in the month, a network-wide outage at Optus left nearly half of Australia's population without phone or internet services for 12 hours. Amazon has said that it'll trim jobs at its Alexa voice unit. The scale of the layoffs are not yet known. Amazon has been pulling back in a variety of divisions this month. This is the third round of layoffs that the company has announced in weeks. Earlier, it eliminated positions from its music and gaming divisions and some human resources roles. Employees at financial firm Citigroup are reportedly expecting announcements about management changes and layoffs. This comes during the next phase of the bank's sweeping reorganization. Last month, Citi announced plans to cut management layers as part of its biggest overhaul in decades. Automaker Honda is recalling nearly 250,000 vehicles in the US. This is because of a fear of a potential failure of bearings. Honda says this may cause the engines to stall and increase the risk of a crash. Waste from at least 19 international brands is being used to fuel kilns in brick factories in Cambodia. This includes waste from brands like Adidas and Walmart. The findings are according to a report by a Cambodian human rights organization. Several workers have reported that burning this garment waste has caused them headaches and respiratory problems. Several brands, including Primark and Lidl, said they were investigating the matter. Elon Musk is rallying against media reports accusing him of anti-Semitism, calling them quote-unquote bogus. The backlash erupted last week. This is after Musk agreed with a post that said Jewish people hold a quote-unquote dialectical hatred of white people. Musk agreed with this post on his social media platform X. The message has since drawn criticism from the White House as well as several Tesla investors. Following this, Walt Disney and Apple paused their advertising on X, formerly known as Twitter. Meanwhile, Musk has vowed to launch a legal action against a US-based media watchdog. He has threatened to bring a quote-unquote thermonuclear lawsuit against the watchdog Media Matters. He has accused the watchdog of attacking his social media firm X. This was after Media Matters had said it had found corporate advertisements by some companies were placed alongside anti-Semitic content on the platform. Moving to sports, Australia beat India by 6 wickets to win the ICC ODI World Cup. India batted first and struggled to score runs after Australian bowlers and fielders played phenomenal cricket. The men in blue were bowled out for 240 runs. Australian batters got off to a shaky start, but Travis Head and Marnus Labuschagne held their ground. Head went on to score a World Cup final ton, with Labuschagne scoring a half-century. The baggy greens chased down the target in the 43rd over. Australia have now won 6 ODI World Cup titles. Indian batter Virat Kohli was awarded the Player of the Tournament at the ICC World Cup final ceremony. Kohli scored 765 runs this tournament along with 3 centuries. He now holds the record for the most runs scored by a batter in a single edition of the ODI World Cup. Kohli finished the tournament with an average of 96 runs and a strike rate of over 90. Indian pacer Mohammad Shami ended the 2023 ODI World Cup as the highest wicket taker of the tournament. Shami missed out on the first half and made it to the Indian squad in the fifth match against New Zealand. In his 7 matches, Shami took 24 wickets and set multiple other records for India. His best figures of the tournament were 7 wickets for 57 runs, making Shami the first bowler to take 7 wickets in an ODI World Cup match. Moving to football, Belgium thrashed Azerbaijan 5-0 in the Euro 2024 qualifiers. Striker Romelu Lukaku scored 4 goals for Belgium in the first half itself. To pile on to the lead, Leandro Trossard scored the 5th goal for Belgium in the 90th minute. Portugal beat Iceland 2-0 in a one-sided Euro 2024 qualifier match. Bruno Fernandes scored the first goal for Portugal in the 34th minute. In the second half, Portugal's Ricardo Horta scored in the 66th to seal the win. Portugal have won all 10 of their Euro 2024 group matches so far. In tennis, world number 1 Novak Djokovic won a record-breaking 7th ATP Finals title. Serbia's Djokovic beat Italy's Jannik Sinner 6-2, 6-3 in straight sets. The match lasted an hour and 43 minutes. After winning the trophy, Djokovic said, and I quote, "This was one of the best seasons I've had in my life." Indian badminton player PV Sindhu has confirmed that she is training under the mentorship of Indian legend Prakash Padukone. Sindhu added that the mentorship under Padukone has been ongoing since August. Meanwhile, Mohammad Hafiz Hashim will continue to be Sindhu's coach till the Paris 2024 Olympics. In Formula One, Red Bull's Max Verstappen won the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Verstappen has now won 18 straight wins in a record-breaking F1 season. Meanwhile, Ferrari's Charles Leclerc overtook Red Bull's Sergio Perez on the last lap to finish second, with Perez settling for third. In the MotoGP, Ducati had a complete podium takeover at the Grand Prix of Qatar. Fabio Di Gianantonio finished first to clinch his maiden MotoGP victory. He was followed by teammates Francesco Bagnaia, who finished second, and Luca Marini, who finished third to complete the podium. In golf, India's Gaganjeet Bhullar won the Indonesia Masters at the Royal Golf Club in Jakarta City. The 35-year-old finished with a score of 24 under par to lift the trophy. Bhullar's compatriot Karandeep Kochar finished second to seal a 1-2 finish for India. Bhullar has set a record for 11 Asian Tour titles, which is the most by an Indian. Moving to entertainment, singer Taylor Swift postponed her Saturday night concert in Brazil's Rio de Janeiro. This came after a fan lost their life on Friday due to the soaring temperatures in Brazil. Taylor Swift took to Instagram and wrote that the safety of her fans and crew was of utmost importance to her. Meanwhile, a radio station in the American city of Philadelphia has opted to bar all songs by Taylor Swift. This decision precedes the National Football League match between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs today. This is because Travis Kelce, a key player for the Kansas City Chiefs, is romantically linked with Taylor Swift. The Philadelphia radio station says they admire Taylor Swift, but they want to show support for their home team. The recently released film The Ballad of the Songbirds and Snakes is on its way to cross $100 million at the box office. The film has reportedly collected over $98 million within 3 days of its release. The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes is a prequel to the Hunger Games trilogy. The fiction piece is based on the incidents that occurred 64 years before the first film. Makers of the Creed franchise have announced the production of its fourth film. This comes after a successful run of Creed 3 in theaters this year. Producer Irwin Winker has confirmed that actor Michael B. Jordan will direct the fourth film of the Creed franchise. Jordan made his directorial debut with Creed 3 this year. Actors Robert Pattinson and Suki Waterhouse are expecting their first child. Waterhouse confirmed her pregnancy at the Corona Capital Festival in Mexico yesterday. Pattinson and Waterhouse confirmed their relationship this year by walking together at the red carpet of the Dwa Men Fall 2023 show in Egypt. They've allegedly been dating since 2018. South Korean girl band Blackpink have reportedly renewed their contract with talent management firm YG Entertainment. However, reports suggest that Blackpink have agreed to a non-exclusive contract renewal with the agency. This means they can sign any other agency too for their individual promotions. South Korean singer Kyuhyun was reportedly attacked by a woman with a knife yesterday. This happened in the South Korean capital, Seoul. Kyuhyun was backstage at a musical theater when a woman snuck in. In the process of restraining her, Kyuhyun got injured. His agency says that he has suffered a minor wound on his finger. The woman was later arrested by police officials. Actor and producer Nicole Kidman has confirmed the return of the show Big Little Lies. At an event in Florida, Kidman said that actor Reese Witherspoon was also working with her on the third season. The second season of Big Little Lies aired almost 4 years ago. The show follows the life of women living in a town in the state of California who get involved in a murder investigation. Rapper Sean Diddy Combs and singer Cassandra Ventura have settled their lawsuit. This happened just a day after Ventura accused him of rape and sex trafficking. Ventura had mentioned in her lawsuit that she was trapped in a decade-long cycle of abuse with him. However, Combs' lawyer said that the lawsuit had been settled mutually. Actor Iman Vellani's latest film, The Marvels, has had low box office collections, which has become a cause of concern for the makers. But Vellani says it doesn't worry her as an actor. She does not want to think about something that is not in her control. The Marvels is Iman Vellani's big screen debut as Kamala Khan. That's all for this episode of Fast and Factual. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to Firstpost.